have found us. More podcast, where we want you to know God more deeply, find lasting freedom, discover your destiny and make an eternal difference. Now.
Well, welcome to this week's podcast. The More Podcast is now fortified with more vitamins and nutrition that you need to make your spiritual health even better. Just one weekly helping added to your current media diet, and you will feel like $1 million gospel bucks. Just ask our current subscribers, which are many now. We have, we just broke a new barrier. We're at almost 4,000 downloads.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I might be like 300 of those, so I might throw numbers off a little bit, but
keeps downloading it over and over again. Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a lot better than it was last year with the 10.
Yeah.
We're at 4.
Tens of downloads.
We're doing good. Well, here to help me with your weekly dose of more goodness, making the Amish jealous with all the woodworking he does in his free time, Pastor Gary.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, making them bowls like nobody's business and spoons and
it's been super fun.
So you're on to bowls now, right?
I'm on bowls.
Yeah.
And we're talking like fruit bowls, maybe some salsa bowls, and a couple of really artistic bowls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been the recipient of some of your charcuterie boards.
Yes,
which are really cool.
Yep.
And then one's got the Michigan map on it, so in case I get lost, I can my charcuterie board.
Just carry that with you.
It's a big thing. It's funny because my son, he saw it and he's like, yeah, Dad used to use that as a paddle. Because I'm like, I don't remember that. And he's like, yeah, I used to pull it out and say, if you don't knock it off, you're going to get this. Okay. And I'm like, really? Okay, I don't remember that.
All right. And also the host on the show today, the man who occasionally loses bags of powder.
In the White House.
Alex Norton. There we go.
Well, and then also sitting to the left of me, which you've already heard his voice already, the only guy I know who is the Dodgeball Hall of Fame, is in the Dodgeball Hall of Fame, and an uber fan of more podcast, Joe Tad.
Yes.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
I heard this theme music, and I always thought there was a big band in here.
Oh, yeah. We do. Mm-hmm. We hire them. They come in and play.
Do you remember when the first time when you were a kid and you listened to the radio and you were like consciously listening? I thought every time a song was on, the band had to be in the studio to play it. So I'm like, how are they swapping these bands out so fast?
Yeah, I remember, consciously thinking, where are these people?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
How is it perfect every time, and how do they know the words?
Right. Okay. Here's the interesting thing is back in the day, that used to be a record, right? Mm-hmm. So imagine the DJ having to gear up for the next song, had to find the right spot on the record.
Drop the needle, right on.
The needle, yeah. I mean, those guys were pros back then, and then all of a sudden they came out with things that looked like 8-tracks. You put those in. Okay. And then I was just talking with Joe before the show. When I worked at WLTO, we were already using what was called a carousel system. Okay. With CDs in it. And it automatically would, go to the next one.
Yeah. Well, the switching.
But there's a guy that worked there that was a part of the era that used the records.
Okay.
And I'm like, you're a pro, man, to figure that out.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's all just typed in.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a big long cue sheet. They'll have the full 24 hours queued up.
Well, I got a chance to go to K-Love Studios in Indiana, and we went in there, and I'm like, where is everybody? There's like nobody in the building except for 2 people, and their whole job is to make sure that their feed from California goes through, and it's all digital, right?
Right.
So all their commercials, everything's all digital, so they get a download every day,
yeah,
and they just got to push play and make sure it's running.
Right.
That's it. That's their DJ work. Yeah. And then every now and then they'll get on and say, here's traffic at 5, whatever. Huh. But that was it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, in my ever effort to try to give you stuff to talk about around the table at home during the summer, or around barbecue, or on the boat, whatever it may be, or if you're on Pastor Gary's boat having pizza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wait a minute. How do you cook a pizza on a boat?
So we have a really super sweet grill.
Yeah.
It's called the Tailgater, And so it's a smaller size grill, maybe about 1.5 by 1.5 feet.
Yeah.
And it's got the LB tank on there, LP tank. And then I went to the store and bought an ultra thin pizza, box pizza.
Yeah.
And so I just stuck it on and I'm like, hey, right? I mean, let's give it a try.
Okay.
And just turned it on and it produced the most beautiful, well tasted, a little charred on the bottom, but you
works.
expect that with a fire grilled pizza.
Yeah.
We handed it out and I had vegetarians asking for more pepperoni.
Really?
Yeah, it was great.
That's pretty cool that you can do that on a boat when
Yeah.
you're out in the water, having pizza. You ever thought about making a business out of it,
Actually, there's a person at our church that is in the process of doing that.
Really?
Yeah, at the sandbar in Crooked Lake.
Could it be going around and selling food off there?
Yeah, you can swim.
Pontoon,
It's
yeah.
a swim up pontoon bar.
Really?
Right.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's genius.
Yeah.
That is a great idea. Yeah. I heard there's a hamburger guy out there somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good thing. All right. So, I want to change the subject up a little bit because, we do get into a lot of sporting activity during the summer. Mm-hmm. There's always a lot of fun. So I thought it'd be interesting to look up some of the interesting sports that are, happening right now during the summer season. And I found some pretty good ones on here that you might want to share around that barbecue grill. That would be good. Or maybe the water cooler at work, whatever it may be. One of the first ones, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but there is an actual sporting event called hobby horse jumping.
Didn't know this.
You didn't?
Do you jump over the hobby horse or do you ride the hobby horse and make it
You
jump?
ride the hobby horse and jump. Yeah. Brought to the States from Finland. Of course, another weird thing from across the seas.
Yeah.
Competitors are challenged to jump over obstacles, which are normally done with a live horse and a rider, but instead with a stuffed toy horse head on a stick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now it's coming
You know what
together.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
now I'm getting it. Okay.
You've probably seen your grandkids running around with, this fake little horse. Yeah. They actually use this in competition. It's been around since 2012, and they have 10,000 members that compete now with this whole thing in Texas, Finland, and Australia.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched a video, and it's hard not to laugh when you watch a grown adult with a stick horse between their legs. And, you've seen those things with the horses where they jump over them?
Yep.
Exact same thing.
Okay.
And so they have to clear these 4-foot stands to make it happen. Organizers of the event said it's a fun way to exercise and develop real skill, as some of the obstacles in the event are over 4 feet tall. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do they have people chasing them with coconuts?
Yeah, right. Making the noise.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Monty Python reference there.
They actually win money doing this. Yeah.
There's prize money.
There's prize money for this. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe, you being the new gym teacher could start a new competitive sport of hobby horse racing.
It is time the swordsman
Yeah,
and
right.
the hobby horse team together.
There you go.
And we could go to Finland.
Yeah. Mission trip to Finland with your hobby horse. Okay.
Start a team here. I can't wait.
As long as I can have the coconuts, it's not going to feel the same.
No,
if I don't
it will
hear the
not.
hoofs.
It will not. Well, I was watching and I did notice one of the competitors was moving their mouth. Like maybe they're making their own sound. Yeah. So that they could feel like they're going to actually jump. But I'm just get on a horse and do it right.
Back in the day, probably just after your era, we used to do the Wednesday Night Live show.
Yeah.
Remember the show?
Yeah.
And we actually made a movie, a Western, and we used the hobby horses. And these high school students had cowboy boots on and the flannel shirts and the whole bit.
Yeah.
And then they would run and jump over logs. And so I probably helped launch this without even consciously knowing it.
Somebody probably saw
back
the
in
video.
1990.
Somebody saw the videos and
Yes.
they're like, wait a minute.
And our guys were so good they could run and then do a 360 and land it and keep going.
Wow.
Yeah. This was Dave Delph era.
Yeah.
Eric Ferguson
Okay.
era.
Yeah.
Mike Wilson. Yep. This was that whole era. We had a whole movie. I should bring it in. We ran the Bonanza soundtrack in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I'm just thinking as a parent, right? Mm-hmm. Your kid decides to get into this sport.
Yes.
How do you actually support that sport as a parent without laughing? I mean, really, because your kid comes home to you and says, you know what? I don't want to be in the football team, basketball team, or volleyball team. I want to take a hobby horse.
I'm actually glad you asked that question. We can have Joe jump in here in a second, but
Yeah.
look at the world we're living in right now.
Yeah.
It's like the more chaos, the better.
Yeah.
The more we celebrate weirdness, right? It's like, oh my gosh,
Right.
We have Alphabet Soup Group.
Oh yeah.
Probably would jump on this
Oh yeah.
activity for
In
sure.
a heartbeat.
Yeah, it sounds really cool until you think about how many grown adults are going to ride a hobby horse.
Right. Yeah.
And jump. If my kid said, I want to do it, I'd be like, okay, well, anything athletic you want to do, that's great.
Yeah.
Any kind of working out you want to do, if that's the way you want to do it, I'll get one too.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Let's do it. But what I think the funniest thing is, we all know fanatics, right?
Yeah,
So every
yeah.
group's going to have that fanatic. He's going to have his own special wooden hobby horse. It's going to be aerodynamic. It's going to help him jump a little
He's got
farther.
a bedazzled halter on it.
Yeah.
The best part is that when they were bringing them in, they have to be inspected, right? I don't know for what, but they have to be inspected to make sure they meet certain requirements.
So you're not doping your hobby horse?
I'm just trying to figure out, like, what would you inspect on a stick and a
Could have
stuffed
to
head?
do a blood draw on your hobby horse.
Are you on something? All right, so that's hobby horse. So if you're thinking about a fun activity that you can get your family involved with, there you go. And it might be coming soon to Harbor Lake Christian School. And then now this next one, I thought I could get into this one. This would be kind of good. Is lawnmower racing.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
But this is different. This
Okay.
is a little bit different.
These are push mowers.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it's speed mowing with a push mower.
Oh.
You can't have a motor on it. It has to be manually pushed.
They're called reel mowers. They
Yeah.
have a reel. Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's an actual mower, gas mower.
Okay.
But you push it. Now, the aim of this is that you have to compete and mow a stretch of grass the quickest.
Okay.
And so that's the competition. So you have maybe like a yard, 2 yards of length of grass that you got to mow.
Okay.
Whoever can do it quickest, or maybe football length or whatever. And that's how you compete. So the sport has become popular in, of all places, Britain. And they actually had to get a regulatory body involved with it. So now they have the British Lawnmower Racing Association that
Okay.
regulates
Is there a quality? Like, I mean, do you have to make sure you cut all the grass, or do you just run up and down?
Well,
10
I'm
rows?
assuming that's part of the regulatory
Okay.
commission to
Yeah.
make sure
So there
that,
is
yeah.
there is probably a quality
Right.
standard that
Right, yeah. This is a no mulch.
fast
Yeah.
plus yeah.
This is
The
a no
mulcher.
mulch area.
There's the
so
mulcher.
we're going to be blowing it off to the side. But it's become a huge competitive thing. Now, this year is pretty exciting for them because they just added riding lawnmowers with enhanced engines.
Yep.
That they race
I've
with.
heard of this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so basically they don't mow anything, but they do race. But there is a regulation that they can't be like so souped up they can go super fast and then another guy can't. So they have to have certain qualities, kind of like when you have racing,
Yeah, NASCAR
6-cylinder,
and all.
4-cylinder, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a sort of the thing. So they've added that in there, but people are still into the lawn mowing, extravaganza where you have to go out there and mow the grass.
Nice.
Again, I mean, we could start this up, start a men's club, get a small group together, mowing lawns like that.
You know what? I volunteer my house to
Yeah.
be the meeting central. And I'll let you guys practice
Right. Yeah.
on my street. We'll just do everyone's yard.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we're just practicing. Yeah. To get our time up. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's funny because you watch these guys behind the mowers and they're speed walking. You ever seen speed walkers?
Yes.
How they walk?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's
And
hilarious.
so these people have to speed walk.
yeah,
while
basically it's speed walking with a lawnmower.
So you're not allowed to run.
No, you can't run. No, it's just, it's speed walking, mowing.
Okay.
And the quickest one that does it
Okay.
is the winner.
Wow. Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
So that's something else to
I
think.
think the speed walking just added a new element of weirdness to this whole thing. Yeah.
I think they sold out though, getting a riding lawnmower. So
Yeah, I think that's
they
what-
lost their
Yeah.
their original idea.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
not speed walking. What are we even doing? Why do
I
we have
know.
a federation for this?
Right.
Just get on the riding lawnmower.
Yeah.
It's funny because somebody took a picture and sent it to me. Somebody in Alanson didn't want to drive their car around all that mess, so they were riding down the road in a lawnmower, which made it easier for them to go through the dirt and all this other garbage to get to the gas station or whatever. So, it's an option. It's an option to get, you can get really good at it. All right, here's the last one. This is the best one. This is the creme de la creme of all of them.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of chess boxing? The game of chess with boxing.
So if you lose,
Yeah.
Knockout.
Yeah. It's crazy. Listen to this. Basically, to spice up a chess match, a group of chess junkies decided to add boxing to the whole mix. And so there's matches involve 11 rounds. Competitors must either knock out their opponent or outwit them on the chessboard. And it's all done in sort of like a MMA octagon. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine watching that? That would be kind of cool.
I'm going to YouTube that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to check this out.
It's out of India.
Okay.
India is where it started, apparently. And they have competitions every year. It's big sellout crowds, man. And people are basically waiting for them to get to the boxing part, like when they start fighting it out. Like they're playing chess, right? And then they're saying there's so much tension in the room, people just can't even take it. And then all of a sudden, somebody gets up and they start duking it out.
Okay.
It sounds like that was a fight that broke out in a chess match, and they're like, "No, this is a new sport."
Yeah,
Listen,
right.
We are.
I've kind of heard of this in hockey, right? You go to a hockey game and then you hope that a fight breaks out.
Right.
Yeah. Or the opposite, where you go to a fight and then sometimes they play hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, basically, you go for the fight, right? Because I went to
in auto racing, you go for the crashes,
right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're looking for and so apparently people were not, so much into the chess part of it because it takes hours and hours to watch somebody win. This way, it kind of gets it done over a little bit. Yeah. So you can get them out by a knockout or winning the chess match. But I'm thinking after a few hits, can you really see the chessboard anymore? I mean, you're like so groggy from being hit so many times.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, what am I doing? Where am I at?
Then all of a sudden that rook takes every piece off the board. Okay.
But I'm thinking if you got a board in the middle of a ring, right, and you're going to be fighting at some point.
Yeah.
How do you keep the board from getting hit? There's got to be penalties for that. I mean, it's like some guy could just wipe it all off and say, "Oh, I won." There's so many things, so many questions I have.
Piqued our interest in figuring this out.
There's so many questions I have.
I would
right
like to see them lower a cage
Yeah.
over the chess.
Okay. To protect it.
to keep it protected. Yeah.
Okay.
So when they start boxing it out, we got to watch a YouTube on that.
Definitely have to have weight classes in that boxing thing, though. Could you imagine this little skinny
Yeah,
guy? He's
yeah.
like, yeah, whooping
There's
on
not
the
a lot
chest.
of really big Indian guys that I'm
that's
aware
what
of.
we're talking about India.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should go over there and dominate.
Yeah, there you
Be a
go.
chess champion.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to play anymore.
Joe
chess. I'm just
identifies
gonna
as an Indian.
It's going to go over and just take it over, man.
You're like, you do have to play chess first. You know that?
Yeah, you start out with playing chess, and then it gets into that. Yeah, I guess they break it up into certain sections.
And now,
so
over in this corner,
yeah, right.
the man who's never won a single chess match, but he's dominated in the fighting portion, Joe Tath.
Everybody he plays against is just beat up.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't want to play him. I don't want to play him. He's gonna beat me up.
It's really hard to choose what you're going to do when you have a head concussion. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like what? I mean, I've seen guys boxing, especially MMA fighting, and once you get hit a few times, you don't know where you're at.
Right.
Much less try to play a chess game at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think Americans are missing out on a lot of this stuff because when you talk about all these things going on here, hobby horse jumping, I mean, that has come to Texas, but lawnmower racing, that sounds like a good one. Chess boxing. I'm just saying we're missing out.
Okay.
We're missing out.
Get some more, yeah. Get some more, yeah. Get some more, yeah. More coming at ya, more coming at ya.
Get rapture ready with your favorite host today, Pastor Gary and Pastor Alex Norton, as they come to you with information that you need to make it through the times coming ahead and more.
Every time we play that song, you guys are all like bopping your heads.
Yep.
And stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
You can't help yourself, can you?
Not at all. And that new song, the first break song, that's amazing.
Yeah, that was, we're just, changing it up a little bit.
Did you make that one up, or is that
Yeah, I made that.
the Moore one? The
Yeah.
one we just played?
Yeah.
That was excellent. Good
Yeah.
job.
I try to impress you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did it. It was great.
I try. So in the Rapture Ready news, we got an interesting idea that's actually starting now. It's inaugurating this month. Have you ever heard of the thing called Fed Now?
No.
Oh my gosh, this is a mess. The Federal Reserve Board is starting this month a program called Fed Now, in light of the success of cash apps like Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App, which you've all probably heard of before.
Okay.
The federal government thinks that they could do a better job insuring America's money and making it easier for you to use it and spend it. Mainly focusing on small businesses. Eventually, it would become a nationwide rollout. It's happening now.
Okay.
Yeah. So looking at, I was trying to be unbiased by looking at this whole thing, but it's hard not to kind of bracket into something. But the whole program seems harmless, and there have been other government programs that have moved towards a more streamlined approach to helping Americans send and secure finances. However, with this new program, it raises a few questions, and these are some of the questions that I was thinking of as soon as I started looking into it. In 2022, the federal government said at one point that they wanted to move to a cashless society, and they're working on that. Hopefully by 2030, they want to get to that point. And, basically trying to get ahead of the market. Sounds familiar once I start listening to that, you know. And then secondly, if the government, begins to be the gatekeeper for all of our money in the future by authorizing or declining the use of money, I'm just wondering, couldn't this lead to other government overreach with companies, individuals who may not agree with them, and eventually your money?
You have a hard time because you've read the book of Revelation, chapter 13.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Because in Revelation 13, 16 through 17, it says, he required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead, and no one could buy or sell anything without that mark, which is either the name of the beast or the number representing his name.
You two guys are making eye contact with me right now. Can you believe the world we're living in is just completely being played out?
Yeah.
Right from Scripture, right in your lives, right every single day.
It is ridiculous.
We got Schwab in the World Economic Order. He's just going full blown. Yeah, let's put it in the forehead. Let's go ahead and put it in the hand.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with the whole cashless society. The idea that they want to roll out by 2030 is that we wouldn't have to use debit cards anymore. Basically, what you get is like a barcode printed on you or a chip put in your hand, where you can scan it like you do with your card when you tap it. It'd basically be the same idea.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this all sounds very familiar when you read the Bible. I mean, you ready for that, Joe?
I will not be getting that.
Yeah, right. It's like,
so I just got my card hacked the other day. So we have a brand new card.
Yeah.
Apparently I was staying in Tahoe at a bunch of hotels.
Really?
And so, what happens when I get this put in my wrist or, my forehead and it gets hacked? Do I get a new wrist and forehead?
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah.
Don't worry. In 2 days, you'll have it in a box.
You could just implant it again on your own. Yeah. It's crazy. And, the whole idea is you've got people in the financial world that are just touting this as a great thing, right? If we have the government kind of being the middleman for all the financial situations going on between small companies and payroll and blah, 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 this is going to be a great idea, right? It's going to just make everything streamlined. Yeah. And that seems to be the constant lie that we're always hearing is about the convenience.
Yeah. You talk to anybody like over the age of 60 and just say, tell me one thing that the federal government has gotten correct.
Right.
And they can't come up with anything.
Right.
This is like the worst idea.
Right.
The worst, the most insecure way to keep your money.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you don't ever really touch it. It's just numbers on a screen. Somebody's got the number somewhere. And then, for all this effort that we're doing for America, eventually they want to tie it into international currency, and then eventually everybody will be tied to the same thing. And the whole idea is that it's going to eventually spread health or wealth and equality for people that are, don't have a lot of money. Then everybody will have money available, blah, blah, blah. It's just, if
you will own nothing and be happy.
Right. Yeah. And well, somebody will own it, right?
That's their quote though.
Yeah.
That's their quote. You'll own nothing and be happy.
Right. Yeah. So it just makes you wonder, things like we have mortgages and car payments, and what is that going to be? I mean, it's going to be owned by the government at some point, not a bank. It's just a lot of these things are just, I don't know.
Wow.
If you have ever wondered if Jesus is coming back soon, I mean, all you got to do is start seeing this happening. It's playing out.
If there's any one of those 4,000 downloaders from this show, if you have questions, just please get a hold of us. We will help talk you through a brand new relationship with Jesus Christ. And we will give you the secure, 100% destination of where you're going to spend eternity.
Right. Yeah. So basically, I guess, well, gold wouldn't really be helpful either, would it? If you own, I mean, that's the one thing they tell you all the time is own some gold, and you'd be. But what was that worth?
You know, what are you going to bite off a corner of it, give it to somebody? I mean, that's you know, I understand that, you know, it's a precious metal. It's real. It's had a long time, you know, running record of having value. But how do you actually start doing work? There's a reason we went away from that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we really don't even know
like
how much we have. Right?
Yeah, like when we were even a couple of series ago when we were talking about the you know, the temple shekel.
Yeah,
right. It's because they had to put that in place because the Roman coins could be forged,
right?
And you know, and there was less silver in that than what was in the shekel, and so you know, this has been a long-term problem.
Yeah, it's a mess, and I don't know. We got to be careful. You know, debit cards, I guess, is kind of a gateway into this because, you know, it does make it convenient, but then you start moving into the tapping and all the other junk. I don't know. What are you going to do? You know,
that always did kind of puzzle me. Like, it's too hard to insert the card or slide the card. Now I got to tap it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, gee,
it's more secure.
Saving a lot of calories.
Yeah. It's more secure. That's what they always tell you. But what is the difference between sliding it in or tapping it?
Right.
It's still using the chip to do the same thing, right? Yeah. I don't get it.
It's fancier.
It is fancier.
It's cooler.
It is.
It gets you ready to tap your wrist.
Exactly.
Right. See?
Yep.
It's sort of, you're right. That's the whole point is like, if you start getting people to start easing into it, right?
Yeah.
It's so much easier than to go to the next thing and say, well, don't use the card, just use your, you know, chip in your hand or whatever.
Yep.
I don't know.
How does your grandmother send you a birthday card with a $5 bill in it?
They don't, not anymore.
Next time I see you, I'll tap you, honey. It's your $5.
Yeah. I tapped it for you. You already got it. There you go. Yeah. I mean, it's going to make my gospel bucks actually worth something at some point.
You've been holding out for that for a long time.
I've been holding out for my gospel bucks, man. At some point, you know, it's going to be currency all to itself, and we can start giving it out here at Harbor Light.
Yeah.
You can get gospel bucks here at Harbor Light.
Hey, don't worry. More podcasts will be back in just a second.
Well, we're here with
Well,
Harbor Light.
alrighty then. We're back.
I know.
We got ourselves a nice Australian in here.
We try a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Your wife says, I'm a man of many voices.
Yeah, that
That's
was
right.
great.
Yeah.
It's going to be an international podcast at one time, just kind of introducing these people.
Can you do me one little favor?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a great idea, right? You're doing good. So get a hold of Bobby J.
Yeah.
You need the Jamaican,
Yes.
the Indian from India. He's got both those down perfectly. Just get him to do one for you.
Okay, yeah.
He's the master.
And you know,
And he'll say something about cheese when he's doing the one from India. Because we went to the Subway one time, and he's like, "I'd like some cheese on my Subway." And the guy's like, "No cheese. We don't." He did it in the perfect language, and oh my gosh, Bob just about yeah. And Bob then spoke back to him in his Indian dialect.
Are you kidding me?
It was awesome.
yeah. Well, I'll get him. Yeah, I'll get him recorded. Let's get him in here.
Yeah.
So we're at Harbor Light Bible Trivia right now. If you're wondering where we're headed, yeah, we're right here. The question from last week was pretty interesting.
It was.
We
it was
sort of
kind
gave
of an easy one.
We sort of gave the answer
Right.
when we were trying not to give the answer.
Right,
But
right.
I think most people figured it out, right? Yeah. So what was the question then?
Yeah, the question was, where did the pigs? I did it again.
See,
I did
that's
it again.
what we did the last
It is.
time.
Yeah. So where did the demons want to go?
Yeah.
They wanted to go into the pigs.
Right.
And so that was the answer, into the pigs. There's a whole theological explanation for that, which you could have went with on Sunday, but were never returned. You would have kept going down there. But basically, demons are they're angels who have fallen.
Yeah.
But they can't. They need a presence. They need a body to dwell in.
Yeah.
Whether it be an animal or a human, they're looking for something to embody. And so when Jesus was going to cast them to the abyss that you mentioned from Revelation, that they were like, please don't send us there because then we can't get out until the very, very end.
Right.
Okay. And so just send us into some body. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was the pigs was the answer.
Send me to the pigs.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the dang pigs ran off into the lake.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we had quite a few people answer that question. It was pretty good.
Good.
But, it was interesting because I got either the pig or swine.
Ooh, the more biblical term.
Yeah, it's swine. Yeah. So it was pretty good. So
Super.
we had, I'm trying to, I guess I didn't write them all down here, but we had about 7 people answer that question.
Okay.
And most people answered it, with the scripture in it, which was
Nice.
yeah. So that was good. Like we need verification, right?
Yeah. Right.
Tell me where it's at. All right. Well, we're going to do a new question today. If you want to send in your question to us, it's harborlightbibletrivia@gmail.com, harborlightbibletrivia@gmail.com, all lowercase. And this question for this week, though, is going to be different.
This is a little tougher.
Right.
It is. And I should I'll go ahead and give the reference, the chapter reference. Okay, so this weekend coming up, we're doing, our talk is going to be called Spitballs and Wet Willies, okay? And it's from Mark chapter 7. And so Jesus heals a man in this chapter.
Yeah.
And he uses a phrase that means be open.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the phrase that Jesus says, or what's the word that Jesus says that means be open?
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking for, the answer.
And this phrase, this word,
Yep.
is so interesting.
It is very interesting.
So what we're thinking is if there's a way that you can record it
Yep.
and then email the recording to us, we'd like to hear your pronunciation.
You know what would probably work? Tell me if this would work, right?
Yeah.
On my phone, I have that little microphone thing so I can speak to text, voice to text. So you could voice to text and we could give out your contact information. That would go across the entire United States.
You can call me. You can text it to me.
Text it to you
at 231 495 1963.
Okay.
Text me the word.
One more time on the phone number.
231 495 1963.
And between the hours of 2 and 3 a.m. are best, right?
No.
Eastern Standard Time.
Anytime you want to text it to me. No, here we go again, coughing. Anytime you want to text it to me, it's fine.
So what's the word that Jesus uses when he heals this man in Mark chapter 7?
Right.
That means be open.
Right. And we want to hear your pronunciation of the word.
You want to do like a voice memo.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's a voice memo. That's what it is.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you,
Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
We needed your technical expertise there because we don't even know. It's this computer is really new to us, so we don't really understand half of it.
Just a
anymore.
prop.
Yeah, it's a prop. Yeah, we don't even.
If I look at the screen, there's nothing even on it right now.
Yeah, right. It's just a blank page.
You're just looking important. I'm impressed though.
Yeah, well,
Joe's sitting. He's been impressed the entire time.
He's like,
especially
wow.
when you like move your fingers on the keyboard.
Right. Yeah.
He's been really impressed.
That's because I'm on Amazon right now.
Okay.
So I'm trying to,
You're
I'm
trying
trying
to
to
buy
buy stuff.
something?
And can you guys quit talking for a second so I can make a purchase here? Yeah. Okay. So if you know the answer, now remember this week, instead of texting it or sending it to us, text us a voice memo. So it's called, voice memo to us of the word and your pronunciation of the word.
Yes.
And we would love to hear it. And, we'll probably play them on air and we'll have fun with it. And that's okay.
Now, I'm checking the date here. So we're today is Thursday the 20th.
Yeah.
Okay. And so next week will be the 27th. So we'll be doing our final drawing for the month. So if you get this in, you're going to up your chances of winning the Bluetooth speaker, correct?
May I add?
Yes.
If they can get the pronunciation correct, can they get an extra
drop in
the...
Oh,
that
that's
sounds
a good idea.
good.
Yeah.
Double your
We don't
chances.
even know how to pronounce it. I got to look it up. I got to go back home. I got to go back to my office and look at the lexicon to figure out what the.
I did have my computer say it a couple of times, so I could kind of pick up on it.
Yeah.
And then I watched a couple of preachers attempt at it, and it was they botched it. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the word and phonetically pronouncing it. I mean, makes sense to me, but phonetics doesn't mean anything in the Bible, right?
Right.
You got to look at it. It's like, what? What does this mean? So yeah, I mean, if you got a handy dandy Strong's Concordance somewhere, it breaks down the word for you, so actually you can read it, in English and understand it. But anyways, It's a good word for you to learn. And
We will do a double drop if you can give it to us in some other accent. If you throw an accent in there, we'll even do a double drop. So you can triple your chances of winning the speaker.
Yeah. Or the Toby Mac CD.
Oh, yeah. You got that.
You got a choice. Yeah.
You have a choice this time.
You can do Toby
Look
Mac
at that.
CD or you can do the speaker.
Because this is the one that you got a picture of yourself. No. Just a picture
of Toby Mac.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a backstage picture.
Okay.
It's worth it. It's worth getting the picture, and I'll frame it
Ooh.
with the CD.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you get a choice, either one.
This is
We're ramping it up.
It is.
We're ramping it up now. And of course, if you went onto our Facebook page, you noticed that some of our new swag is going to be coming out. We're going to be getting the huggable Jesus that's coming.
Okay.
And they're basically it's a Jesus that you can wrap around your wrist.
Okay.
And it's he can just stay with you all the time.
Really?
That's coming, yeah.
You know what would be really good when you were just saying that? I was picturing like a stuffed Jesus thing that as you squeeze him, he smiles. Wouldn't that be good? And then when you let up on him, he just goes back to, that would be good.
I love you. Whatever you go. I love you. Yeah, we're gonna get those here. We're just waiting to order them, and once we get them in, that's gonna be a swag prize. I'm almost thinking though, because we get so many people that answer these questions on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. I really like the idea you came up with a couple weeks ago, where we put up a little table with swag on it. So if you're a winner, you can make a choice.
Okay.
Of swag. Because like on Sundays, I'm like trying to find everybody, between the two services. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. Or if they are there, I don't see them.
Okay.
That way you can go to the swag table, get your swag, and then then we don't have to worry about, missing you. And
that's good.
You get your prize. So I might do that this Sunday. Just set up a little card table with swag on it.
Okay.
And here you go. If you've answered the question you got, because usually I'll email you back and say you got it correct.
Yeah.
You can come get your swag.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Was it honorary?
Honor system?
Honor system, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of swag out there.
I know. Little kids will be coming up like, yeah, I won. No, you did not. You didn't know where you answered that. Well, if you have the answer to this week's podcast question, email it to harborlightbibletrivia@gmail.com or voice memo it to harborlightbibletrivia@gmail.com or call me if you're going to voice memo it to 231-495-1963. And please don't text me at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I was just joking about that.
Yeah, but the problem, my phone's always like right there, so
But
it'll go off.
here's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Here's the funniest thing. So Jesus heals this guy that we're going to talk about this weekend.
Yeah.
And then he says, don't tell anybody. And the Bible says they told more people because he said that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's like, don't text Alex at 2 or 3 in the morning.
They're going to text
it's going to,
Yeah.
they're going to skip all the other times and just do that one time.
I'm going to change my ringtone because right now it's the Empire March.
Okay.
From Star Wars. And
That's a good one.
My wife hears it and she's like, I don't want to hear that one more time. I'm like, but how can you, So I have to change it. Maybe I'll change it to R2D2 screaming or something.
Yeah.
The more podcasts want you to know God more deeply, find lasting freedom, discover your destiny, and make an eternal difference. You're listening to More Podcast.
So how'd you like that one?
I loved it.
Yeah.
That was really cool the way that the sound would come in and out of the person's voice. That was great.
Yeah. That was another version of me.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
You are the
amazing.
man with a million voices.
It's amazing what you can do with technology.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got this really cool mic that I got that I'm using to do your audiobook.
Uh-huh.
And that thing is just like way cool. Anyways. So this last week what?
Audiobook?
Yeah.
What?
Pastor Gary's turning his Holy Spirit book into an audiobook.
That is fantastic news.
Yeah.
You can't just fly over that for a second.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Who? What book? When? Now I know.
Well, it's gonna be a while because I was looking at trying to record it, and each chapter is about 2 hours worth of recording,
Okay.
and then you got to edit. So probably looking at about 15 hours of
Sure.
recording to get that done.
Okay.
But and then you have to, read at a certain pace, and also So I've been doing my research. I'm ready. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's either gonna kill me or make me better. So it'll be good. It'll be a lot of fun. So last Sunday we got into the topic of Mark chapter 5, verses 1 through 17, talking about pigs, and there's a lot of talk about bacon. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
People loved it.
yeah. Can I remind you that it was so funny in the first service that I showed you that Linda gave me a towel
Yeah.
with this bacon quote on there.
Right.
And then Wayne McFall came in the second service and gave me some bacon socks that he picked up at the gas station.
Yeah.
As he was,
Isn't that great?
yeah, he decided to come back for the second service, and he's like, I want to give you these socks. I'm like, oh, man. I like bacon, but I'm not going to decorate my office with pigs and bacon. It's Star Wars only.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, Pastor Matt, he makes a mention about a squirrel, and he's been living that down for 15 years.
Yeah.
So I appreciate all the love, but I don't need any more bacon. So there's a lot of talk about this situation being an UnJesus situation, because when he was delivering a man, he decided not to just get rid of the demons and throw them out into the middle of nowhere. He puts them into a herd of pigs, 2,000 pigs. And then what happens is they run off on the cliff into the lake, and 2,000, reasons why Jesus looks like a bacon hater. I'm just saying. And we talked about that pretty extensively on Sunday, but I wanted to, Pastor Gary, I wanted to go into some of the questions we had for the small group questions that were a part of the service. And I just wanted to kind of talk about those things and go through them and maybe get some insight from you on these.
Okay.
One of the questions on the small group was, what's the significance about the other side of the sea? Jesus talked about leaving one side and going to the other side. What do you think was the significance of doing that? I mean, we mentioned it on Sunday a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, so I really appreciate this question, and I was having fun as a pastor listening to you. You did a great job on your message.
Thank you.
Okay, loved it. I was looking at the end of the sermon. How do I put this into play?
Yeah.
Right? How do I put this deliverance into play? Well, first of all, you see Jesus is coming towards the man.
Yeah.
I want you to recognize that the Bible says that Jesus is pursuing you all the time.
Yeah,
He's
that's
constantly pursuing you. So he travels from one side of the Sea of Galilee to the other. He's coming to meet you. And that's important for us to all recognize. He's in that process all the time with us. But then you see the man going to Jesus. So they're meeting kind of halfway.
Yeah.
And the scripture also says, if you draw near to the Lord, he will draw near to you. So you see this attraction between Jesus and this man. He knows he's in need.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, the demons aren't in full control all the time.
Right.
There were times when he was in control. He was in his, and so he's moving towards Jesus. Jesus is moving towards him.
Yeah.
And that's a fulfillment of Scripture. I think that was really important.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason that we see that. Plus, as you mentioned, it showed how these people had let compromise into their life.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, that was really important. Then you see the next step that the man takes. He humbles himself. He kneels. He bows before the Lord.
Yeah.
Right? And whether the demons were in control at that point or not, who knows, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not super clear in there, but that's the next step that we take. When you draw near to the Lord, humble yourself, acknowledge your need of him and that you need the Lord. And then after that, Jesus speaks to the situation, right? And the Lord will speak to you in your situation, whatever's going on in your life. You will have a chance to return or repent from that and turn from it, right? And then after that, you see the deliverance take place. Yeah. And then the man wants to spend time with Jesus, and he says, nope, don't go with me. You stay here and tell everybody in your family and your friends about me.
Yeah.
Okay? So I believe that is the process that we come about when we get deliverance in our life. We go to meet Jesus. He meets us. We humble ourselves. We take the correction. We take the deliverance that's given to us, and then we put it into play by evangelizing and bragging on Jesus, what he's done in our lives, and you'll see your life transformed.
That's good.
I believe that's why it was important that we see the setup.
Yeah. And it's interesting that when he had the message that he was supposed to share with his family and friends, Jesus gave him a specific message to share his mercy and grace. And talking about his deliverance, it wasn't necessarily about anything else. And I think that's key when we talk about how God begins to work in our lives, is that, we want to talk about the deliverance. You don't want to keep talking about, he didn't say, go tell them all about your past history, all the things that caused you to get to that point. He just said, talk about the mercy and grace of God.
That's right.
Yeah. And, and I think we can get kind of caught up in the garbage we came out of. I mean, a lot of people, they want to live in their testimony, 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's great. That's a part of your story.
It is.
But the redemption part of the story is where God gets his glory. That's where he begins to see, people see God's power working through them. Yeah.
Yeah, I always find it more powerful, make an impact on someone when you love on them or they love you for who you are, then you tell them your story.
Yeah.
Like you might see me here, but I was way over there before.
Yeah.
And if you don't always talk about it, they have no idea what you've been through. And like they might think you have it easy. They might think you've always loved the Lord. But you're like, no, I've walked through glass, sir. And I can show you my bloody heels.
Yeah.
But I don't talk about that 'cause I don't live there. I live here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that is really good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because I think sometimes, the story, of, recounting, in this situation, the tomb story, living among the tomb, it becomes sort of like the big focus, a lot of times, like I think it's interesting when I was working in the Salvation Army with drug and alcohol, a lot of times it was, we had to help them reframe their story at some point, right? It's like, yeah, I was living on the street. I was an alcoholic. I was a druggie. But that's not my story. My story is redemption. I was free. I'm free now. I'm living a new life. My family is restored. I have these kind of things, and it's a process, right, to move them from that. And I think that's what was so crucial when Jesus mentions that to him, is like, you don't want to keep dwelling on the garbage, because that's garbage. That's gone. It's if God can forget our sins and throw them from as far as from the east to the west, what right do we a lot of times have to keep picking up the same problems over and over again and rehashing them when the redemption is the story, right?
Right.
And I think that's crucial with this man, is that go back and share what Jesus did for you, but in the context of I'm free, I'm a new person. So the next question was in your own words, try to explain what this demon-possessed man's life was like. And we talked a lot about that on Sunday. We were talking about a man that was hopeless. Basically, he was, possessed by a legion of demons. And we talked about the amount that would be. It's like a legion in Roman times is 6,000 men, 120 horsemen. This guy was really, really affected by this stuff. What did you hear, Pastor Gary?
Well, when I was listening to that, my heart went out to the many young people that cut themselves.
Yeah.
There's it's been around now for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I know, Joe, with your background and working with young people, that you're familiar with this as well. And so my heart went out to those people that that is a sign of demonic oppression and attack.
Yeah.
When you want to physically hurt yourself, and cutting is definitely one of those symptoms of that, as well as the multiple personalities that we see in our world today.
Yeah.
My particular view on that is extracurricular spiritual activity going on. You've got demonic oppression, demonic attack, and people who have multiple personalities have opened themselves up in some way to the occult or demonic influence, via movies, books, music, drugs. Drugs is a huge open door for the satanic attack.
Yeah,
and so people who have opened the door, sometimes they'll find themselves with multiple personalities. So those two things came to my mind when we were reading that passage.
Yeah, and I think talking about the, cutting yourself too. I mean, we see that in our society a lot more. But when you get to a place of where you have no hope anymore, where darkness is so prevalent in your life, you're looking for any relief whatsoever from it. People that cut themselves are just looking for a feeling of anything, right?
Mm-hmm. They're numb.
They're numb, yeah. Mm-hmm. And imagine this guy, in there cutting himself, is trying to just look for any source of something he could grasp a hold of, that would be real or he can have feeling with, Mm-hmm. And that's exactly, I mean, the devil likes to work that way. He definitely is putting you in a place to where he's trying to destroy you. He's trying to take you away from anything that's life in general. Mm-hmm. And what better way to do that than to start just ripping your body apart, doing things you shouldn't be doing. And we see this in an extreme case with this guy. Mm-hmm. It is just, it blows my mind how much torture this guy was probably going through with all that stuff happening in his life. I would imagine, I mean, the scripture doesn't say anything, but I would imagine, he had family and friends that at one point that no longer are part of his life. And it just, to walk away from all that support, and to go after this new lifestyle of basically total depravity, mm-hmm. Total darkness. That's just blows my mind. It's just hard for me to even wrap my mind around it. And I even mentioned that in the message on Sunday. I've dealt with people that have been in the lowest of lows, but I've never experienced somebody to this extent, mm-hmm. to where they're that depraved or that lost into the darkness to where, they're like trying to destroy their own body, mm-hmm. To that extent. Yeah, it's beyond. It's just I just can't even imagine. Torture is about the best thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen many people fight with that. It's kind of funny. The devil has an old playbook, and he uses the same thing over and over again.
Yep.
We might have different means now, even more because of our phones and social
mm-hmm. media.
Mm-hmm. But just that demonic presence that overwhelms somebody. I mean, I've dealt with many people, and of course have to be physical with them sometimes, and then they're just not there,
mm-hmm.
and you're like, you pray for them, you hope that you get them help. And in the Western world, all we have is medicine,
right?
And you see people, and they're just different, and they're like defeated,
yep.
And I really thought about him being naked.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
yes.
Outdoor naked. There's nothing more vulnerable for
Correct.
a person to be naked outside to the elements, and he's stuck, and he's around death.
Yep.
That's where he wants to go. He
right.
knows he has no hope.
And you think about the young people and even older people in our world that have lost so much respect of who they are, that God created them to be, that they don't take any, nakedness is no big deal to them.
Yeah.
Right. It's the prostitute, it's the stripper, it's those people who have been taken advantage of, and become so vulnerable that they have nothing to hide behind, and they don't care anymore.
Right.
So those three big things did stick out about this man.
And you're right. I mean, death is the only label you can put on this, because it's not just death that we think of when somebody's in the grave, but it's death to life in general, right? I mean, every experience, every interaction, everything is all covered in death.
Can I share a little of my past?
Yeah.
My mom and dad ministered to people all throughout my life growing up. We would have people come live at our house from time to time that found themselves super depressed or suicidal or going through divorce or whatever it might be. And we had a lady living with us for a couple of months, and she only wore black all the time.
Really?
Right? And she's trying to get set free from the depression and the difficulty that she found herself in. And finally, one day, I believe the Lord was just speaking through me to her. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, it's time for you to take off the cloak of death and start putting on clothes that have color and life. And so my dad really appreciated that input and that particular time. But as a grandpa now, I look, and the scenes of skulls and death and all that kind of stuff are even on children's clothing. Mm-hmm. It's on lots of different areas. We are obsessed with death.
Yeah, we are. And it's obviously in our culture. I mean, we are a death cult in a lot of ways. I mean, look at how it's influenced so many things as far as births, babies, all kinds of things. It seems like it's permeated every aspect of our culture. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because it seems like when people start getting into that mindset, it does begin to change them in a lot of different ways. It changes the way they wear their clothes, how they look, how they interact with other people, how they begin to respond to life in general. And to me, it's just so hopeless. It's not cool. It is not cool. And I know when I was growing up, they called them goth.
Yep.
People that were wearing goth stuff. I don't know what it is now. I don't know the hip term now, but it was just they were just wanted to embrace death, and as though it was a great thing. And it's like, come on, why would you want to live your life like that?
Right.
But they do. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, I try not to be super religious on stuff, but I'm definitely a person that I want to have an affinity towards life. I want to be connected to life and not to death.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to generally avoid that kind of garb.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm the grandpa that says stuff, and if your kids are wearing that, and I happen to see them, I'll probably be like, hey, Billy, let's,
yeah. Why are you wearing that?
Yeah, let's try something different.
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up in a time where I like to listen to, rock and roll and metal. A lot of times they would always seem to use that as a tool or something to try to get your attention and stuff. And I never really thought a bunch about it, and it was so funny because my kids, when they were like, would find like things like album covers or whatever, and they're like, what in the world, and I'm like, yeah, that is kind of weird, isn't it? Yeah. You never really think about it, but it does seem to kind of move you in that way. But now I think we're seeing a culture that's just taking it up to the next level. It's not just the images now. It's like we want to embrace it for all it's worth, right? And, like you said, wearing the clothes the way they are, embracing skulls and everything else that's a part of death. And, there were some people that I met here in Petoskey. My wife and I were walking around, and my wife, she'll talk to anybody. And this woman was decked out and everything. She looked like she was getting ready for Halloween, right? Mm-hmm. My wife was just asking her some questions. She's like, "Oh yeah, I just love the occult, and I love all the darkness and all the things, and And she's like, "But it doesn't affect me that much." But she goes, and her husband's like, "Yeah, our house has got like weird black stuff all over the place, like our walls are black and all this other stuff." And I'm like, "Dang, that's weird." That's like, how much more are you going to go with that? And yeah, she looked really, really rough. And I was like, well, okay, all right, that sounds interesting. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it's becoming sort of like, everything else in our culture now. It's like, we do this as our identity, this is our identity is death. Well, really? You want to take that on? I don't know. But anyways, with this guy, we can obviously see the source of his problem, which was satanic influence and possession. I wanted to ask you, Pastor Gary, what do you think was the significance of the legion? I mean, why couldn't it just be one demon? Why did it have to be a legion? I mean, do you ever think about that?
I'm familiar with the story, and I'm familiar with the idea of multiple demonic attacks. So my experience on this and my biblical knowledge on this is that there are certain spirits that are connected, certain demonic spirits are connected to certain influences. Yeah. So when you have multiple demonic influences, you can have a spirit of death, a spirit of lust, a spirit of addiction, a spirit of, he's got the whole gamut of demonic influences. So this man wasn't just dealing with one issue. Yeah. It's the whole spectrum.
Do you think that speaks to some of the things he allowed to influence his life? Do you think that's where it led him into that?
I think just like we referenced a couple minutes ago, there are lots of different doorways that the enemy wants to put his foot into. That's from Ephesians, right? Yeah. So you give the enemy a foothold. He's going to come in and create a stronghold in your life. And so it can happen. It can happen when we have bad things happen to us. So there's something called lie-based thinking. Mm-hmm. So you have a bad experience that happens. You have an emotional input into your life. And lots of times those things, the enemy will whisper into your life a lie in that trauma. Okay, so my parents, let's just say, hypothetically, my parents get divorced. Mm-hmm. Okay, the enemy comes along and he whispers to you in that time and he says, it's your fault. Yeah. You're the reason that your parents got divorced. Okay, so that's lie-based thinking. So then now that little input has been planted there, and then it begins to grow because I don't take care of it and I don't get the truth of the Lord in my life. And then it grows and grows and grows, and it affects then all of my decisions, my interactions, are now hinged all the way back to that lie-based thinking that was planted at a trauma. So it can happen through a traumatic experience. It can happen through drugs. It can happen through lots of different ways. In this particular man's life, he's living in the region now, like you said, compromise is the norm.
Yeah, I was just thinking that when you're saying,
you go for it.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much compromise going on in that region at that point. It would not surprise me that his influences are just so readily available.
He's the poster child. He's the poster child for the rest of this region.
Yeah. And he's the extreme case of allowing all of that stuff in that area. And this is the result right here. This man right here. The interesting thing is you have sort of a dichotomy there where you have people that are acting religious.
Oh my gosh, this just came to my mind when you were speaking. Okay. What is the root of all evil?
Yeah.
What is it? The love of money.
Oh yeah.
It's the love of money is the root of all evil. And these people had made compromise because they were going to make money off of the pigs that they're selling to the Romans.
Yeah.
And it opened it up for all evil.
Right.
And this man is the poster child of that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we just nailed it.
There we go.
Holy Spirit is so amazing. So there's a warning.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and kind of spill out for us kind of the warning from this man's life in what we just revealed?
Yeah. Well, the warning is that we need to make sure that we are careful with how we deal with life and live our life, and there's no compromise. We should not have compromise. I mean, this is the thing that was the shocking thing when I was reading this, and I started studying the archaeology reports on the region. They were having pet pigs in Jewish homes when they're not supposed to be touching pigs. So there's compromise already. So the family, this is the part that was shocking to me, is that the family were letting pigs into their homes, into their barns and everything else. And I was thinking about, I didn't talk about it on Sunday, but I was thinking about, you think that now through to where we are today, it's almost like our culture, we're like allowing pigs into our houses. And we're wondering why our kids are compromised, why the family's falling apart, why things are happening. Well, look at all the, quasi pigs that we're allowing in, the things we're letting our kids watch on
unclean.
TV. The unclean, yeah.
Okay, and here's something else that popped up to me when you were speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, pigs are called unclean animals according to the law of Moses.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the spirit that was mentioned in the beginning of the story? The unclean spirit.
Yeah.
It's an unclean spirit as a result of unclean compromise in their life.
Yeah.
And you have just really, really brought it this last weekend. It was great.
That's the sad part though. And it's sort of a shocking revelation for us. Mm-hmm. Like talking about unclean things. Mm-hmm. What are we allowing into the house? It seems cute and cuddly, right? Mm-hmm. To them, it did. It
funny.
It's funny.
Humorous.
It's a pig, mm-hmm. What's it going to do? But the whole point is it was an issue of compromise that they should have never crossed or breached ever. Mm-hmm. And they did. And then look what happens in that region, to the point where Jesus could have brought so many healings, so many stories of redemption in that besides the man.
Okay, so pigs, when in the animal world, a pig is always going to use the restroom in the lowest part of the field. Okay, so from that aspect, it's a pretty clean animal, from that perspective. But of course, they can't sweat, and so they have to roll in the mud, and that's where we get this unclean animal idea. Well, I had two roommates after high school that I lived in Indiana that were hog farmers.
Really?
Yeah. They would come home. They were not allowed to come in the house without peeling off all their clothes in another area, like down in the basement.
Yeah.
And then we had to take their clothes and keep them because it would just permeate. The entire house smelled like pigs, and pigs are stinky.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Really stinky.
Yeah.
All right. Now just think about that from a spiritual standpoint.
Right. Yeah.
You've been in the world, and you've got all this stink on you, and you've made compromise, and you bring that into your home. It's going to permeate and stink and get on everything. And
then what happens, right? We know, like, people that have cats, after a while, they don't smell the litter box.
Exactly.
Yeah. After a while, you don't smell the smell anymore. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal anymore. I don't really smell it.
Yeah.
But it's just because you've gotten used to it. You've gotten used to the smell. You've gotten used to the compromising of that coming in there. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things going on here, right, in the story, besides just the initial interaction between him and Jesus.
Yeah.
It's sort of an introduction to what was happening in that region of things that Jesus was dealing with. And it just shocks you because these people should have never gotten to that place whatsoever. And yet they still
And
did.
then the way that you ended the message, which is super powerful. This guy gets set free. He's clear, right?
Yeah.
But we lost our income. Please leave and get away from us.
Right,
Because
yeah.
we're more interested in our compromise and what it makes and what it does for us
Right.
than in walking with you, Jesus. Please leave us.
So get on the boat and take off.
And Jesus is like, and that's why he's staying here to remind you guys what happens.
There you go.
That's a good point. That is a really good point. Yeah.
And look at this is a great message too, right?
Yeah.
This man gets set free, like you were talking about earlier. We don't live back in our past, but that now becomes the launch point because he's the missionary to those people.
Right.
The best missionaries are the people who are raised up in the midst of a land and a people and get set free
Yeah.
because everybody knows his past and that he's different.
Yeah. He doesn't even have to say anything, right? Him walking down the street.
Generations.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
His kids, like, remember his
Yep.
dad?
Yep.
Yeah.
He was up,
Yep.
naked,
Yep.
tearing his clothes.
Yeah.
Nope. Loves the Lord now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lord
That-
set him free.
Wow. Part 2.
Man.
Could be another
This
whole
is
nother,
super great.
Could be another whole nother message.
What I like about that the most, though, there's always a redeeming, right? So that's really
Mm-hmm.
bad. We've made compromises. We've loved money more than we love the
Mm-hmm.
Lord, or at that time, the rules of Moses. But Jesus shows up.
Mm-hmm.
One, a legion is an army. He stood one against an army of demons.
There you go.
Get out of here.
That's
One will
good.
put 1,000 to flight and 10,000.
Yeah. 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 It's just crazy to think that, this one guy had that many minions. I keep thinking about that. I was like, good grief. That's a lot. That's a lot of demons in there. A lot of compromise, a lot of influences in there. Well, Pastor Gary, can you give us a little bit of insight into your message because it sounds pretty interesting?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I've taken the time to dig in. There are some. This story is not completely unknown, but most newer Christians would be unfamiliar with it. But well-seasoned Christians will probably pretty aware of the story that I'm going to share. But there are some misnomers that I'm going to kind of clear up as well.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to have a healing service. We're going to pray for the sick.
Oh, good.
And after the service, and so the prayer team's already gearing up and ready for that.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see a lot of people getting set free and healed this weekend. So please come expecting the work of Jesus.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Joe, thanks for being here today.
Oh, it was my absolute pleasure. Seeing how the bread's made.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't tell everybody. Don't tell everybody the secret now.
Well, you guys messed up, so now I know where this place is at.
Yeah.
I have keys to the whole building.
That's
Right,
right.
you can come
and
up
I'm
here.
going to be here 5 days a week, so good luck not getting me out of this
Can we
thing.
have Joe come back? Because I've got I was a PE teacher here at Harbor Light for
Yeah.
a number of years,
Yeah.
and you're the new PE teacher.
Yeah.
I've got some just mind-melding wisdom to give you and some ideas to give you, and I just can't wait to be able to
I think we
pour
should.
that out on you.
We should have him back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got time?
I always have time.
All right. We'll get you back.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that's it for us. We just so happy that you were with us today, and hopefully, again, we gave you the more you're looking for. But we'll be looking to give you more next week at the same time, same place. Talk to you later.
We want you to know, find, discover, change with us. More podcast ending transmission. Now.